Hello everyone, it's Kari from sunshineinmypocket.com and I'm excited to share this Altenew new stamp set with you. This is called Stunning Starflowers, and here are the layers. For each of the flowers, there are multiple layers and it creates the most beautiful look on these starflowers. And I'm going to show you how to put these together, how to use if you only have a limited number of inks, and I'm going to also put together two different cards. This starflower set also has a matching die and it comes with the word star. So you can build some different sentiments using the star die cut and also the stamp set, and it also cuts out these leaves and it makes an impression for the veins of the leaves. So it's really, really neat. Here's a look at some that I made at the beginning. I made these ones red because it reminded me a little bit of poinsettias this time of year, but now I'm going to show you how to use this set, and I'm only going to use 3 colors of blue inks. So I have here some Altenew inks in 3 colors, and only 3, even though there are more layers than that. I'm going to show you how you can just use these amounts of inks. I've already set this up in my MISTI, the first layer and the second layer. And I set it up in the lower left-hand corner so that I can actually stamp 2 flowers on the same panel and then move on to the other side and stamp the second layer. So this is the first layer. I'm using the lightest color of ink, which is, I believe this is Caribbean Sky. And I'm going to stamp that on both sides of the paper. So you can see I flip it over and stamp it right over here. When I have this set up, I usually like to give the ink a little time to dry, so I'm going to do the second layer using the same color ink, and I'm going to do the very first flower that I stamped, so that had a little more time to dry. I'm going to stamp this color twice this time. Since I have limited supply of colors, I'm just going to stamp this one twice, and the building up of the ink gives you that different look. So see how there are multiple layers just doing this with one ink color. Really, really pretty. When I stamp Altenew flowers that are layering flowers, I usually stamp a whole bunch at once. So I think this time I did 3 panels of the blue. So I'm alternating between panels while I stamp these. Now I have set up level or layer 3, and now I'm going to use the second color on layer 3 and I'm going to stamp it twice on layer 4. So you can see that I use each color 2 times and it builds up and builds up. But look how pretty this layer 3 is. It really packs a punch. I love how Altenew makes these layering stamps. Now, the great thing about this is there's no coloring. You don't have to do any coloring whatsoever. I'm going to switch out the panels here and do my other panels as well. And I love that sometimes when you don't feel like coloring, you can just color with inks. So that's this set, and now I'm moving on to the next layer. I'm stamping the second color 2 times, and look here. See the difference on those flowers? It's just becoming more and more stunning. And I think this stamp set has really earned its name, Stunning Starflowers, because they are really stunning. This next layer I'm stamping once with the darkest layer, and this is where you can start to see all of the different shadows and layering. Really beautiful. And there you go. There's my other one. Now all we have left to do are the centers of these flowers. And so I'm going to finish stamping out this layer here, and then I'm going to move right on to the centers. So I'm moving this panel to the opposite corner and I have the center set up. You can see on this one I did yellow in the center and it's nice and light, and on this one I did a darker center. I thought with the blue a nice bright yellow would look really, really great. So I'm going to use this honey drizzle in the center on both of those. So I'll flip it around, and then for the topper, I'm just going to line that up a little bit better here. And then on the topper, I'll use a little darker of a color. Look at how pretty that yellow looks with the blue. Really, really great. So here is the last one. I'm using a darker orange for this one, and this goes around those stamens there. And in the video, it's kind of hard to see, but it shows up a little bit better in real life with that orange color. And that's the end of the stamping for this flower. Super simple to layer up. And there's also the second flower, which I stamped off camera, and I'll show you that in our final cards at the end. Here are the leaves. When you cut them out, they make an impression in your paper. So look there. There is not a stamp for the leaves. It's only the die. So it's really neat that it makes that impression as well and gives you those veins. For the leaves, I'm just going to really quick ink them up with some green and then ink around the edges with a darker green. That's going to really make these leaves pop. And I'm doing the same exact technique on all the leaves, so I didn't leave all the coloring in. But look at how those pop with the flowers. Just going to finish up my last set of leaves here, inking with a darker ink around the edges. I'm loving these detail blending brushes by Altenew for this kind of work. And now I'm going to put this card together. I'm using the Cross Weaves 3D embossing folder from Altenew on just the top portion of this card. So I'm going to leave out a little bit of that cardstock there. You can see that here. And I'll run that through my die cut machine to emboss this. And look at that. So much texture, such a great, beautiful design. And this is going to really make the background of our card stand out. So now I'll arrange those flowers in the way that I want them and put some leaves in there as well. Look how pretty these red ones are. I'm just going to kind of play around, rearrange these leaves a little bit. Yeah, sometimes I have to do this before I'm fully satisfied. And this is going to be the general layout. For that black strip of cardstock, I'm going to stamp one of the sentiments from the stamp set. Actually, I'm going to white heat emboss it. So I'm going to stamp it with a clear sticky ink right here. And then I'll pour that white embossing powder over the top and heat set it with my heat tool. And it says, "You're a," and then I die cut the word star out of the glitter paper. So I'll heat set that. I still love watching embossing powder melt. It's got to be one of my favorite things. So "You're a star." So I went ahead and arranged that. I glued a black shadow behind the glittery star die cut. Now I'm going to take some mint tape, pick up all of those flowers, and then glue them all at the same time. The only one I'm not gluing is the front flower at the bottom there. You see I'm not putting any glue on that one because I want to pop that one up with some foam tape. But the rest of these I pretty much glued down. I want to make sure that they're still in the same spot and carefully pull up the mint tape. And now I can put some foam tape on the back of this front one here. And I'm just going to arrange that just like so. To finish this card, all I have to do is glue on that black strip and the star die cut off the remaining excess of the black, and there's our card. You can sort of see some of the embossing I did in the center of that one. You'll see it a little better at the end here. And now I'm going to finish off this second card using the beautiful Illusion Diamond stamp set from Altenew. This one is also new and it's a background stamp. I thought this would look beautiful with that same honey drizzle that I used on the center of the flowers. And because I have the small mini ink cube, I'm going to swipe it across that background. Then I'll just use my ink smusher to get a good impression and let that fully dry. So pretty. I really love this stamp, and especially for the background of these blue flowers. I'm going to cut out a square using a square die, just going to tape it down before I send that through my die cut machine. And that's going to be the background for this card. I stamped the thank you with the same blue ink that I used on the stunning Starflowers. And you can see that bottom left corner flower is the other flower that I stamped off camera. Still really pretty, and I love having the different shapes of flower for this card. To attach this to the panel, I'm going to use some fun foam, and I'm going to attach that to our panel of the front panel with score tape, and then I'll just glue the rest of it to the back with liquid adhesive. I use the score tape so I don't wrinkle the front panel that I've stamped. I don't want that to show up on my card. Just going to hold that down with some acrylic blocks until it's dry, and there is our card. It's got some good dimension, some really fun design with those illusion diamonds, and I love the sans serif font of that thank you. There's our first one. There you can see the heat embossing in the center. I used some gold for that, and I still have plenty of flowers left over to make some additional cards if I want when I'm ready to do that, because I did them all at the same time. So there's a look at our cards for today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed a look at how to use the stunning Starflowers with just a few inks and how to put them together into cards. I really loved this project. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out with YouTube. Leave me a comment and let me know which one's your favorite, and I'll be back soon with more card making inspiration. Bye-bye.